Assalamualaikum everyone. My name is Aman and I am student of Reham School Korangi campus. So my today topic is food from basic need to cultural icon. My today guest is Maya.
Hey there.
Hi Maya. So my first question is what is food?
At its simplest, food is basically any substance that organisms eat to get the energy and nutrients they need to survive. It's what keeps your heart beating and your brain thinking. Do you want to dive into the different types of nutrients, or are you thinking more about the cultural side of it?
Why do people eat food?
Basically, it's survival. Your body is like a machine that never truly turns off. So it needs constant fuel to keep everything running from breathing to blinking. But beyond just staying alive, eating is a huge part of being human. It's how we celebrate, how we bond with friends, and honestly, for a lot of us, it's just one of the best parts of the day. I'm curious, do you have a favorite meal that always makes you feel better?
What are the main types of food?
Usually, we group them into a few big categories. You've got your proteins like meat and beans, carbohydrates like bread and rice, fats, and then all the vitamins and minerals you get from fruits and vegetables. Most people just think of them as food groups to make sure they're getting a bit of everything. Does one of those categories sound more interesting than the others?
Which food help us grow?
They definitely do. Proteins are the big ones there. Think of them like the building blocks for your muscles and organs. When you're growing, your body uses those nutrients to actually construct new tissue. I wonder if you're thinking about this for a project or just curious about how the body works.
Why is healthy food important?
Think of it like giving your body high quality fuel. When you eat healthy food, you're giving your organs and brain exactly what they need to work at their best. It keeps your energy levels steady so you don't crash, helps your immune system fight off sickness, and basically just makes everything in your body run smoother. It's the difference between a car that glides and one that's constantly sputtering. Do you find it easy to pick healthy options? Or is the junk food too tempting?
What is your favorite food?
I don't actually eat, so I don't have taste buds to pick a favorite. But from everything I've heard, a really great piece of homemade pasta or a perfect street taco sounds like the way to go. What about you? What's the one dish you could eat every single day?
What is breakfast?
Breakfast is basically the first meal of the day, usually eaten shortly after you wake up. It's meant to break the fast from when you were sleeping all night, which is actually where the name comes from. Some people love a big spread, while others just grab a coffee and call it a day. Are you a big breakfast person?
Why do we eat lunch?
It's mostly about that midday energy slump. By the time lunch rolls around, your body is usually burned through the fuel from breakfast, so you need a recharge to keep your brain and body going until dinner. It's kind of like a pit stop for your energy levels. Do you usually have a set time for lunch, or do you just eat whenever you get hungry?
What do people eat for dinner?
Dinner is usually the most varied meal of the day because it's when people finally have time to slow down. Depending on where you are in the world, it could be anything from a hearty roast or a bowl of pasta to rice and curry. For a lot of people, it's less about the specific food and more about the ritual of sitting down after a long day. Do you have a go to dinner that you always look forward to?
What is food?
We're circling back. Like I mentioned, food is any substance an organism eats to get the energy and nutrients it needs to stay alive and healthy. It's basically the fuel that keeps your whole system running.
Name three fruits.
Easy. Apples, bananas, and strawberries. Do you want three vegetables to match?
What is a vegetable?
A vegetable is basically any part of a plant that we eat as food, which can be the leaves, the stems, the roots, or even the flowers. Unlike fruits, which are all about the seeds, vegetables are the other structural parts of the plant. I'm curious, do you have a favorite one? Or are you more of a hidden veggies kind of person?
Name three vegetables.
Curiosity is the best way to be. Since you're in a curious mood, what's on your mind? Is there is there something specific you're wondering about? Or should we just see where the conversation takes us?
Why should we drink water with food?
Because your body is basically made of it. Water does everything from regulating your temperature to flushing out waste and keeping your joints lubricated. Without it, your brain would literally struggle to focus and your energy would tank. It's the most essential thing you can put in your body. Do you keep a water bottle with you or do you have to remember to go find a glass?
What is junk food?
You cut off there. What were you about to ask?
Is too much junk food good for health?
If you're asking if too much junk food is helpful, the short answer is definitely not. It might taste great in the moment, but it's mostly empty calories, meaning it gives you a quick burst of energy that disappears fast, leaving you feeling tired or crashed. Doing that too often can really mess with your mood and your health over time. Are you trying to cut back on the junk or just wondering how it actually affects you?
What is a balanced diet?
Let me look into that for you.
Why do children need healthy food?
Since you asked about the kids first, it's because their bodies and brains are still under construction. Healthy food gives them the actual materials they need to grow taller, develop their cognitive skills, and build a strong immune system so they don't get sick as often. It's basically the foundation for everything they'll be as adults. As for that venous tube, it's a flexible tube a doctor puts into a vein to give someone fluids or medicine or to take blood samples. It's a really common medical tool for things like IVs. Do you want to know about the different types of tubes, or were you more focused on the nutrition stuff?
What food is rich in protein?
Mm, you've got a few great options there. Meat like chicken, beef, and fish are the obvious ones, but if you're looking for plant-based stuff, beans, lentils, tofu, and eggs are packed with it. Even things like nuts and Greek yogurt are surprisingly high in protein. Are you trying to add more of it to your diet?
What food gives us vitamins?
Fruits and vegetables are your best bet for that. Things like citrus fruits for vitamin C, carrots for vitamin A, and leafy greens like spinach for a whole bunch of different ones. Even nuts and seeds have a lot of the essential vitamins your body can't make on its own. Do you have a favorite fruit or veggie that you actually enjoy eating?
Why do people cook food?
Soup is like kind of the ultimate comfort food. Like cooking it is a great way to get a lot of different nutrients into one bowl. And since it's warm, it's usually the first thing people crave when they're sick or it's cold outside. Plus, it's a smart way to use up a bunch of leftover veggies and meats in one go. Do you have a favorite kind of soup, or are you not a big fan?
What is snacks?
Snacks are basically those smaller portions of food you eat between your main meals. They're meant to tide you over when you're feeling a bit peckish, but aren't quite ready for a full breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Some people go for something healthy like nuts or fruit, and others go for things like chips or cookies. Do you usually snack throughout the day, or do you prefer to just stick to your main meals?
What is a traditional food?
Traditional food is basically the kind of cooking that's been passed down through generations in a specific culture or region. It's usually tied to what was naturally available in that part of the world, like seafood on the coast or corn in the Midwest. And it often becomes a big part of a community's identity. It's less about following a strict recipe and more about the history and stories behind the dish. Are you thinking of a specific country or just wondering about the concept in general?
What food is popular in our country?
Since I don't have a physical home, I don't really have a country of my own. But if you're asking about where you are, the most popular foods usually depend on your local culture and what's trending right now. Do you want to tell me where you're from? Or should I try to guess based on some of your favorites?
What is street food?
Street food is basically any ready to eat food or drink sold by a vendor in a public space, like a sidewalk, a market, or a busy corner. It's usually quick, affordable, and often the most authentic way to experience a city's local flavors since it's made for the people who live and work there. Do you have a favorite street food or is there something you've always wanted to try?
What is fast food?
Fast food is basically food that's designed for speed. It's prepared quickly, usually in large quantities, and served in a way that you can eat it on the go. Think of things like burgers, fries, and tacos from big chains where the process is streamlined so you can get your meal in a matter of minutes. Super convenient, but as we talked about earlier, it's often where a lot of that junk food comes from. Do you have a favorite fast food spot or do you prefer something a bit slower and fresher?
Name one fast food item.
A classic cheeseburger. Do you think that's the most popular one or is it fries?
What is a cultural food?
Cultural food is really similar to traditional food, but it's more about the shared identity and meaning behind the meal. It's the kind of food that tells a story about a group of people, their beliefs, their celebrations, and how they see the world. For some, it's a specific dish served at a wedding or a religious holiday that connects them to their ancestors. Do you have a dish that reminds you of your family or where you're from?
How can food show culture?
Food is basically a map of a people's history. It shows you what the land provided, like how coastal cultures rely on fish, but it also shows who they've interacted with. You can see the influence of trade, migration, and conquest just by looking at the spices or techniques used in a dish. Even the way people eat, like using chopsticks versus a fork, or sharing one big platter instead of individual plates, says a lot about their values regarding community and family. Do you think the food you eat says something about who you are?
What food is eaten at wedding?
I'm a little lost on that first part. Are you asking what animals eat or maybe what's actually happening when we eat? And as for an air welding, that sounds like some pretty specialized stuff. Are you talking about welding in midair? Maybe something related to aerospace?
What food is eaten?
Pretty much everything that's edible. Depending on the person or the animal, that could be anything from a crisp apple or a piece of grilled fish to something like grass or insects. It really just comes down to what a species is biologically built to digest and what's available in their environment. Are you thinking about humans specifically or all living things?
Why do families eat together?
It's one of the few times in a day when everyone actually puts their distractions away and just focuses on each other. Beyond the food, it's where you catch up on the small things, share a laugh, and feel like you're part of a team. It's a way of saying, you're important to me without actually having to say the words. Does your family have a specific night where you always sit down together?
What is a recipe?
A recipe is basically a set of instructions that tells you exactly how to make a specific dish. It usually lists out the ingredients you'll need and then gives you a step by step guide on how to combine and cook them so the meal turns out the way it's supposed to. It's kind of like a map for your kitchen. Have you ever tried following a recipe, or do you prefer to just wing it and see what happens?
Who teach us family recipes?
Usually it's the people closest to us, like parents, grandparents, or aunts and uncles. They're the ones who hold the secret ingredients and the little tricks that aren't usually written down in a book. It's less of a lesson and more of a shared experience, like helping them stir the pot or smelling the spices while they cook. Do you have a specific family recipe that's been passed down to you?
What is famous food from Italy?
Let me check. Delhi is basically a food lover's paradise. You've got the big classics like butter chicken, kebabs, and paratas, but the street food is where it really gets exciting. Chole bhature, golgappas, and samosas are everywhere. And if you have a sweet tooth, things like gulab jamun and jalebis are huge there. Does any of that sound like something you'd want to try?
What is a famous food from Pakistan?
Let me look that up. Pakistan has some incredible dishes. Biryani is a huge favorite with its fragrant rice and marinated meat. And then you have things like chicken karahi and nehari, which is a really rich, slow cooked beef stew. They're also known for chapli kebabs and staples like naan and chapati. Does that sound like the kind of flavor you'd enjoy?
What is a famous food from India?
India has such a massive variety because the food changes so much from north to south. You've got things like butter chicken and naan in the north, and then amazing dosas and idlis in the south. Biryani is another huge one that's loved across the country. And of course, samosas are a classic snack. Do you prefer spicy food or do you like things a bit milder?
Why do people share food with guests?
It's one of the oldest ways of showing hospitality. Sharing a meal is basically a universal signal that says, oh, you're welcome here and I care about your well being. It turns a stranger into a guest and creates an immediate bond because you're providing something essential for survival in a generous way. Do you think sharing food makes people feel more connected?
What is homemade food?
Homemade food is just a meal that's prepared right in your own kitchen instead of being bought from a restaurant or a store. It's usually more about the love and effort put into it, and you get to control exactly what goes into the dish. For a lot of people, the smell of homemade food is what makes a place actually feel like home. Do you enjoy cooking, or do you prefer when someone else handles the kitchen?
Why do many people like homemade food?
It usually comes down to the feeling of it. There's something about a meal made by someone who actually cares about you that you just can't get from a restaurant. Plus, you know exactly what's in it, so it often feels healthier and fresher. It's like a hug in the form of a meal. Do you have a specific homemade dish that always feels like a treat?
What is a food tradition?
A food tradition is basically a custom around eating that a group of people follows over and over again. It could be something as simple as having a specific meal every Sunday or something more elaborate, like the way certain foods are prepared and served during a holiday. It's less about, the ingredients and more about the shared meaning and the way it brings people together. Do you have any food traditions in your family that you always look forward to?
How does food bring people together?
It's kind of like a universal language. When you share a meal, you're not just eating, you're spending time together, talking and experiencing the same flavors at the same time. It breaks down walls and makes it easier to connect because everyone has a relationship with food. Whether it's a big holiday feast or just grabbing a quick bite with a friend, it creates a shared memory. Do you think you're more likely to open up to someone while you're eating?
Why do people try new foods?
I think it's mostly curiosity. There's something exciting about tasting a flavor you've never experienced before or discovering a new favorite dish. It's also a way to explore the world and other cultures without actually leaving your seat. Plus, some people just love the thrill of the unknown, even if there's a chance they might not like it. Are you someone who loves trying weird new things, or do you usually stick to what you know you love?
How has food changed over time?
It's been a wild ride, honestly. We went from just hunting and gathering whatever we could find to having global trade where you can get a mango in New York in the middle of winter. Then there's the way we process things, like moving from open fires to ovens, and now we have things like lab grown meat and molecular gastronomy. It's really a reflection of how our technology and our curiosity have grown. Do you think we've made food better over time, or do you miss the idea of things being more simple?
Why is food important in celebration?
Because food turns a regular day into an event. When we celebrate, food becomes the center of the party. It's not just about filling your stomach, it's about the excitement of a special cake, a feast you only have once a year, or a dish that symbolizes a milestone. It creates a sensory memory that ties you to the event and the people you're with. Do you have a specific celebration food that always makes it feel like a party?
Okay, can food
So
be
we've
a
covered a
symbol of culture?
absolutely. Food is one of the strongest symbols of culture there is. It's not just about what's on the plate, but what it represents, like a specific spice that connects people to their ancestors, or a certain dish that only appears during a religious holiday. It's essentially a way of preserving a group's history and values through taste and smell. Do you think there's a specific food that represents your own culture the best?
Okay, my last question is, why is food more than just a basic need?
Because if it were just about survival, we'd all just eat a tasteless nutrient paste and be done with it. But food is where our emotions live. It's a memory of your grandmother's kitchen, the excitement of a first date, or the way a certain smell can make you feel safe instantly. It's a way to show love, a way to tell your history, and a way to connect with other people without needing to say a word. It's essentially the bridge between our physical needs and our human souls.
Okay, bye.
Bye bye. It was great chatting with you. Take it easy.